Okay, so how do we use RBD bullet in Houdini 18? It's actually ridiculously simple, and in the next video I want to show you what's actually behind it, because just like in Vellum, this is a newly developed system that is using the adopt network on the SOP level. So in other words, we have a preset again that encapsulates all the standard features that you usually have to build yourself in an already preset setup. So this is why it's so simple. So if we start with a simple toy, for example, and I use a transform to move the guy up, all I need to do really is I have to find the RBD bullet solver. And again, you can build this from scratch in your own DOP network. And in the next video, we will actually, at least as an overview, quickly do that so that we understand what's actually going on in here. But this setup by itself will already work. If I run this, the guy just falls through the ground. That is because we have to activate the ground in the node. And now we have a collision. What you can see is that it instantly breaks apart in multiple elements. And the reason is that the RBD bullet solver understands if something is made of different connectivity elements or different objects, and then simulates them separately. We can now quickly fix that, so to say, by using a fuse. But later on, we will have a look how to control this without having to change the geometry. But this is a quick way of doing this now. And now theoretically, the whole thing should be considered as one. Okay, so this is, as you can see, quite easy. Now, if we want to add a collision object, we do this with a simple box. We this time use the second input, interestingly enough, not the last one, because this is the guide sim. For some reason, SideFX decided to change the input for the collisions, which is annoying. But we can put in whatever we want. And now we should see that there is a collision with that box. There you go. So really straightforward, and really just like in Vellum, everything is there, it just works, you plug it in. Now, RBD, the whole topic of RBDs is one of the biggest in the whole course, and that is because it becomes way more complex than that. But this is really all you need to understand for now. Keep in mind, again, in the next video, we'll have a look at how to build this up from scratch. And if you look inside of the RBD bullet solver, just like with the Vellum setup, there's actually a much bigger setup in here. And of course, what you find is a DOPNet here. And as you have seen, just like in Vellum, you can double click and there is a dive target. So a lot of the things we've learned in Vellum will come back to us. And just like in Vellum, we also have a constraint input. Currently, we don't have a constraint, but we will have a look at how to create this. In this case, it's not called a Vellum constraint, but an RBD constraint. And here you can, for example, at least set the settings of an RBD constraint. You can actually not create it with that node. But as you can see, just like in Vellum, we work with constraints. We'll talk about constraints a bit later, because before that we have to talk about all kinds of stuff. But this is basically how it could look like for a simple setup. Okay, that's just as a quick overview. In the next video, we want to have a look how people used to build this up from scratch so that we understand a little bit better the core elements. All right, so I hope this is helpful. See you later. Cheers.